In this video, I'm going to break down for you 3 things that historically might have worked in the past as a Medicare sales agent that just don't work anymore.
This video is brought to you by none other than Hire Heroes, you guys. Hire Heroes is your one-stop shop when it comes to virtual staffing and making sure that you have qualified talent with your business. One thing that I love about Hire Heroes, you guys, is they've actually gone through the process already of vetting and making sure that your staff member is well trained to best fit your needs. Whether you need help with social media work, posting things on your accounts, responding to people that send messages to your social media accounts, whether you need help with data entry or a multitude of other things that they're qualified to do, Hire Heroes has got you covered. If you're having trouble finding quality talent and number 2, affording to be able to run payroll for that talent, Hire Heroes has got you covered with an affordable alternative to have a virtual assistant working for your business. There's a link down in the description of this video to where you can learn more about getting your own VA through Hire Heroes. I certainly recommend it. They're what we use in our business for all of our virtual assistant needs, and you will want to make sure that you check them out today.
So, what are some things that just don't work anymore? Maybe you watched a video from a guru 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago talking about a specific strategy of obtaining leads or getting new business, and you're just like, man, sounds pretty good. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to break down 3 things that historically might have been recommended in the past over the years in this industry that just simply don't have the same impact as they used to anymore. Okay, so the first thing on my list is cold calling. Now, you might have watched this video years after this channel was created. Maybe some of you have been OG subscribers and you've been following since day one. And if that's the case and that's you, I greatly appreciate your support. You might have heard me talk about cold calling on this channel more than once. In fact, one of the earliest videos we ever made was my cold call script that got me to 6 figures, which is true. However, cold calling not only doesn't have the same impact that it did once upon a time, but the rules have tightened and changed dramatically going into 2023 going into 2024. The thing with cold calling is with so many phone calls being made, with so many robocalls being made, with so many scam calls being made, people's pickup rates just aren't what they used to be. That's number 1. Number 2, the Medicare rules have changed pretty significantly. There used to be a bit of a gray area to where if you were calling for Medicare supplement and the purpose of your call was to discuss Medicare supplement and the beneficiary brought up Medicare Advantage in the form of a question, you could proceed after a scope of appointment was signed and proceed forward with having that conversation. Now, the rules are much tighter when it comes to cold calling. If you make an unsolicited phone call to a beneficiary or potential beneficiary, and no matter what the intention of your call is, and it results as a Medicare Advantage sale, that is technically out of compliance these days. So with the combination of it's much more difficult to build than it used to be, certainly 9-10 years ago when I did it, and the compliance rules making it virtually impossible to do it in any kind of compliant way, we typically don't recommend doing it anymore. It's a dinosaur type of way of building your business, okay? I know people out there that there's still 1 or 2 people I know that are still holding on and they're still doing it. If you're watching this, you're new, or maybe you're looking for a new way to kind of grow your business, I would not recommend cold calling in 2024. 2, direct mail. Okay, now before you jump on me, direct mail, just simply put, in general, does not have the same impact that it used to. Now, there's exceptions. There's exceptions for sure. I know agents that are doing their own custom kind of direct mail packages, right? And there's much more strategy that would go into it than a normal direct mail campaign. Back in the day, maybe even as recently as 3 or 4 years ago, you could call up a lead vendor. They could send out a generic direct mail drop for you with, thousands of people involved. You could get a good response rate, a decent response rate back in the mail. And it was pretty simple. There was one piece of mail that had to go out. And you could get, in a lot of places, 2, 3, 4% response rates, which is a great response rate for a direct mail type of lead. The people that are doing well with direct mail have a couple of different things in mind, in my opinion. Number 1, they put a lot of work and strategy into what they're doing, right? Their mailers are customized. They have a very, very specific look. They work really hard at making them really jump out. They're big mailers, right? They're typically cards and larger pieces of mail, which stand out quite a bit more than the other mail that people are getting. And they typically have to send out multiple pieces of mail to kind of get a good response. In addition to this, this is not going to be super effective in every market, because if you're in a super large metropolitan market, it might not work as well as maybe a more rural market. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work altogether. What I more mean is the old traditional way of doing direct mail, where you work with a lead company, you pay them, they drop a mail drop for you. A lot of times, and there's exceptions, right? There's some companies that do just an absolutely amazing job. Lead Concepts is one of those. Shout out to Chris Weir and Lead Concepts. But for a lot of places that do direct mail, you're just not seeing the same response rates as you used to have, right? Where, in some places you could get a 2, 3, 4% response rate as recently as 3 or 4 years ago. Now you're looking at a 0.5% response rate, maybe 0.8, 0.9, maybe even 1% response rate. Now, doesn't mean that it's completely dead or it doesn't work or anything like that. As I mentioned, there's better vendors to work with than others. But as a whole, we've seen a bit of a drop-off than what it used to be. What's the reason for this drop-off? In my opinion, I think it is more people that are playing in the game that are dropping more mail, right? Anytime you have mail that's going out to a consumer, the more mail they get, the more it's going to water down everybody else's response rate, right? If, let's say, a person gets 2 pieces of mail and your mailer is 1 out of 2, and they're going to call one of them, let's say, if they're going to call one of them and you're dealing with somebody that would respond to a mailer, you have a 50% chance it's going to be yours. But let's say they get 10 pieces of mail. Well, then that 50% drops to 10%. What if they get 50 pieces of mail, 40 pieces of mail, 60, 100 pieces of mail? There's more mail being dropped than ever before. Mail being dropped by other agents, mail being dropped by call centers, mail being dropped by humongous corporations like eHealth, SelectQuote, places like that, mail being dropped by carriers. It's at an all-time high, and when you see more mail flood into the marketplace, everybody else's responses can have a tendency to get watered out and diluted. Last but not least, number 3, internet leads. There was a time where internet data leads were the cream of the crop when it came to paying per lead for Medicare leads, okay? Not talking about self-generating leads, but when it came to buying leads from vendors, internet leads were it. I remember being a couple years in the business, and there was a lead company called NetQuote, for those of you that have been around that long. NetQuote was doing a $5 to $10 lead. I don't even remember what their exact cost was, but it was somewhere in that ballpark. And they were shared leads. They would share them with, they claimed, 4, 5, 6 agents tops. In reality, they were really sharing them with 15 agents, 20 agents, 25 agents. They were ultra shared, and we still wrote apps with them. We still did well with them. That shows you what a different time it was at that point in time. Data leads have just become so diluted, for lack of a better word. They've become so difficult for the lead companies to generate that they've had to resort, in order to get the cost that they want and sell it at a good profit, they've had to resort to using clickbaity types of advertising, right? I bought a data lead from a company several years back. The people thought that they were signing up for a survey to potentially win a free toaster. They didn't know it had anything to do with Medicare, right? Like, these types of data leads just don't have the same impact as they used to, and you have no idea what they're showing the consumer. You have no idea what landing page they're being pushed to. You have no idea what the messaging is or the call to action is, and that just puts you in a no-win situation. So internet data leads, for the most part, don't have the same impact as they used to. There's some exceptions, but very, very few. Anyway, guys, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Comment down below if you feel like I missed anything. Do you agree with the 3 that I chose? Make sure to like this video if you like this type of video. It helps me know that you do, so we put out more content just like that. You guys drive the ship on kind of what content that we put out based on how much you react to the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. We put out weekly videos just like this to help you out in your business, and we don't ask for anything in return except for a little bit of your time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Here's to your success and your abundance, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.